Shalom, giving all praise, Yahweh, Shem, Shah, Shem, Kakudah, Shalom to the 144,000 rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. I'm going to try to make this super quick. Proof that these other camps don't have 100% truth. They don't deal with every aspect of the law. Anyway, this is live, this is premiere rather. Before the battle, Captain Tazariak and hashtag God Logic Apologetics chop it up on belief, Islam, and family. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it. I hope you can hear it.
It's an officer's test, and then the lowest rank is an officer of 50. Now, where you go from there is just the work that you put in or how, like, the Lord moves you.
Okay.
So it's not like a time served, like after 5 years you get this. So the more work I put in is how I was able to get the rank
I see.
that I've had.
Well, so what is like the officer's test? What does that look like?
It's a test of scriptures that you have to get 100% in.
Oh, so that's
And so we give you the test with the answers. And the whole point is about memory. Because, you know, when you get out on the street, you may not have a Bible with you.
Yeah.
Like, we got, like, in this day and age, you got phones.
Yeah.
But at a time when there wasn't no phones, or let's say if you ain't got your phone, you got to at least know the scriptures.
Yeah.
So if you can pass that test and get 100%, then you become an officer. And even then, you can't go out and teach a bunch of different things. There's a set subjects that you can teach.
Yeah.
And then as you grow spiritually, then you can advance and then learn.
That's very interesting, man. So it doesn't matter the age; it just matters your progression,
Right.
your personal growth, and the work you put in.
Yeah, because the Lord can use anybody. He can use somebody at 49, he can use somebody at 20.
Yeah.
You know, it just depends on what you do. Like,
He can use somebody at 10 or 11. Jeremiah was a, what do you call it, a prepubescent boy. He was an actual boy.
Who's the youngest captain that you know? Like,
Ariel, right?
Captain?
Yeah.
Ariel.
It was it 20?
He's old. He's at 23 now.
23.
23-year-old.
But he got captain, I think, at 21, maybe? Something like that. So he's the youngest, and he grew up in it.
Yeah.
So he's like the youngest captain that I know.
I see, I feel it. So there's also, like, I know that there's different camps, right?
Right.
Now, with the different camps, there might be a slight
Listen up now. Listen up.
difference in certain beliefs or certain doctrine.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there what is a type of, I guess, doctrine that would like excommunicate you from Hebrew Israelism at all? You know?
That rape doctrine that GMS used to teach.
Yeah.
And sleeping with white women.
Okay, we got it. We'll listen to it a little bit more. He said that grape doctrine. Matter of fact, let me play it again and get every word. Because he said that we used to teach. We still teach it, Captain. Still teach it. Because it's in the law.
Difference in certain beliefs or certain doctrine.
Yeah, definitely.
Is there what is a type of, I guess, doctrine that would like excommunicate you from Hebrew Israelism at all? You know?
That rape doctrine that GMS used to teach.
Yeah.
And sleeping with white women.
That grape doctrine that GMS used to teach. We still teach it, brother. We still teach it. We don't do it, but we teach it. It don't mean that we go around graping anybody. You wind up under the jail. Are you crazy? We teach you that's a part of the law in the ancient world. You can't, if you're ISUPK and there's a situation of adultery, you don't say, well, we're going to stone this sister and this brother for committing adultery against this man, this man's wife and this. Y'all be locked down. They want y'all to do something like that. That's why when you go back 2,000 years ago, where you had to, in order for the Messiah to be condemned to death, it had to go under the governor, which was Pilate at that time. So you just couldn't do. There were certain laws that you couldn't do under the Roman Empire unless you got permission. So hell no, we don't tell brothers to go grape this grape. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You wind up under the jail. But that's a part of the law. So in the kingdom of heaven, are we going to do that? Not necessarily, because guess what? We're going to have so many women, we won't know what to do with them. We'll know what to do with them. You know what I mean? We'll be like Solomon. Every Hebrew Israelite man in the kingdom will have at least the amount of women that Solomon had or more. Did y'all hear me? You ain't gonna have no Israelite man in the kingdom with one woman. Happy life, happy wife, happy life. No, you're gonna have at least 1,000 women. They can include other nations. That includes Edomite women, if you want them, until you destroy them.
So that there's different camps, right?
Right.
Now, with the different camps, there might be a slight difference in certain beliefs or certain
Yeah,
doctrine.
definitely.
Is there, what is a type of, I guess, doctrine that would like excommunicate you from Hebrew Israelism at all? You know?
That rape doctrine that GMS used to teach.
Yeah.
And sleeping with white women.
You can sleep with Edomites if you can't marry them. You can't. Well, don't only marry. You don't marry the black woman either, Israelite woman, because they become disenchanted, and you got a mess on your hand. Edomite woman. If I run into a woman, she happened to look like an Edomite, and she turns me on, and she's interested in me, and I'm interested in her. I'm getting it. I can have concubines in this world and in the world to come. I can have that's a topic right there. We will have concubines in this world and in the world to come. Not that I'm looking for an Edomite, but if with this drought of black women, they completely out of order, man. You don't want to deal with no fucking black woman. Unless you get, there's a couple of them out there. I'm not knocking all of y'all. You got the sisters that listen to us. They're all right. They're all right, And I'm not saying I'm looking for an Edomite woman, But if, hey, I'm not breaking the law if I don't. So don't be saying, well, Tahar got an Edom. I ain't got no Edomite woman at this point in time.
But can you marry a white woman?
No, you can't marry a white woman. No, I'll tell you something funny. Like, so when I first, you like white women?
Yeah, no, I don't discriminate.
So you sleep with white women?
No, I have a
Is
fiance.
from my side?
I have a fiance.
Somebody from my side.
He said he has a fiance. Is he getting it in with the fiance? Because Christianity said you can't have sex until you get actually married, which he doesn't understand that scripture.
You said you sleep with white women?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't. I'm engaged, so.
To a black man.
Black woman, yeah. Black
okay,
woman.
all right. Okay. He might not be that bad, man. He might be a decent guy. He just got a black. Listen, man.
Yeah.
A black men, we fail.
Yeah, black love, man. Black love.
Black men are the greatest failures of love to their species. We love going to that white woman. But I'll tell you a funny story. When I first was finding out I'm an Israelite before I got to ISUPK, there was these brothers I was learning with. And
those were men of GMS that had a chat thing going. I'll name a name or two. Elder, there's so many names in my head. The elder out of Dallas, the head out of Dallas, which is Yashawamba. You had the elder Ariala, just to name a few. So they had like their own. When we started teaching, these Israelites were kind of like forming their own chat sessions that they go by. I mean, I did that too. When I was in the school under the heads, I was doing little things like that too. Had my little own camp. So I had 50 men in my camp. And I remember when they were saying that Tahar is doing his own thing, which I was doing my own thing, but I was under the orders of them. I was under the orders of them. But Mashah used to say this: if Yohanan had a camp, Yohanan had his men. Mo would say that, King Mashah, them are your men. Them are your men, Tahar. So what are y'all talking about? Like David had his own men, but he was under Saul. As far as the king is concerned, he had the utmost respect for the Apostle Saul, King Saul. Even when King Saul made it plain that he was trying to kill him, when he died, when he committed suicide, he honored him and referred to him as the Most High's chosen. So even in death, King David honored King Saul because of his position. It was obvious he was chosen.
And they had like this little falling out. So I asked them, where's the truth at? They told me ISUBK. I had never heard of ISUBK to
Okay.
that point. And then,
This was a brother from, he did a video on it. So he said that the brother said ISUBK got to have the truth. And that's why he got with the ISUBK. And the brother, give me the elder's name. He's the elder now. This I don't remember everybody's name. Please forgive me. But he actually we told him it's not too many words to do a video on it, and he said that's BS. I never said that. So I don't know what the backstory is. But like I played this because I caught this. This was what, 6 months ago. It was at the Washington Square Park down in the Village of Manhattan, and they had a debate. So I was listening to it. So I caught it. The Spirit made me catch it right when he said the great doctrine, which this proves that they don't have 100% truth and they don't go by the full law, because part of the law is, okay, I'm going to give you an example. Let's say me and Captain Zariak is cool. He have a daughter. She might be 12, 13. Let's say it's in the kingdom. Let's say it's in the ancient world. I grape his daughter. That would be a complete disrespect to the father, which happens to be Captain Tazariak. You don't do that. That's something that you don't do. You do not take a woman by force and grape the woman without getting the consent of the father. The father says, I give you my daughter. That's complete disrespect to the father. Because who owns the daughter? The father, not the mother, the father. The father makes a decision. Go back to the law. And whether he says, okay, this man is going to be, what happened in the ancient world, perfect example is Isaac and Rebekah. When Isaac and Rebekah met, they never knew each other. They never saw it. This is the first time that they saw each other. And immediately when they saw each other, that's love at first sight. The ultimate example of love at first sight. As soon as he saw this woman, he took her in a tent and he had sexual relations with her, and they fell in love, and they were in love with each other. Their eyes met and they fell in love with each other. And what they did was they had sex. You know? And I've been in that situation where I met a girl and I wanted to have sex with her right away, because I knew that, me and her gonna be together. I just knew in the spirit. And then when we had sex, we was in the spirit. We were together, In the ancient world, they did it. Everything was quick. Everything was quick, fast. But going back to, let's say, Captain Zariak being the father of this woman, I raped his daughter, or my son rapes his daughter. That's complete and utter disrespect to the father. So the penalty of that is, there's certain sins that you commit that you don't get put to death on. There's certain sins that you commit that you have to burn a sacrifice for sin. Certain sins that were not unto death, certain sins that were unto death. So that would be a disrespectful thing. You shouldn't have did that. Captain Tazariak is my friend. I'm just talking to myself and talking to my so-called son in the kingdom, or in the past, past life. But we know they get together. Okay, so the punishment is this. You have to pay the father 50 shekels of silver. And that's a lot of silver, a lot of silver. You have to pay him 50 shekels of silver. And you got to take this woman. You know how you get a woman, you all into her, 10 years, you ain't feeling it no more? Well, guess what? You got to stay with that woman. You can't divorce that woman. That's a heavy punishment, man. And when you do the math on silver, that was a lot of money. Let's just put it this way. It was thousands of dollars. It was thousands of dollars. Not no 2,000 or 3,000. It was thousands of dollars. I did the math before. I forget. I can do it right now, but I'm not going to do it. So he had to pay a large sum of money to the father to compensate for disrespecting the father, not the woman, the daughter, but the father. And he could not divorce that woman. He could not put that woman away. So you would have to be stupid to just grab a woman and do it unless you know, hey, I'm going to deal with her for life and I'm going to apologize to the father. The father can't say, I'm going to kill you, after the fact. So they don't understand that law. All these guys, when they came out with polite, what happened was they became emotional. Instead of saying, wow, Tahar, that don't sound like Tahar. He would just say something like that. Let's go into the law. Oh, I see why Tahar said that. We looked into, and these guys go into the Hebrew. So instead of putting the scholar cap on, they got caught up in their emotions.
Then when I get into the school, a couple of those brothers got mad at me over white women because we was all on like the little group conference call, and they was like, "What you doing?" He said, "Riding around with these concubines," and I'm like, "Riding around with concubines? You riding around with white women?" And so I'm like, "We can't sleep with white women," and we get into this whole battle over not sleeping with white women. And then the very next morning, my wife wakes me up, and she was like, "Babe."
Now, if they doing that, it's kind of, you don't be out there with some blind, fine ass Edomite woman in Bensonhurst. You got a convertible, you got the top down. Here you are, Jake, and you got Betty Sue next to you. No, that's not a good move. So there's a thing of abusing the liberties that you have in the law.
They done made a video about you. And so on Facebook, this is in 2009, 2010, like January, the title was like F him, like my Hebrew name at the time, because I had a different Hebrew name back then. And they was like F him, and that shit blew my mind that they did a whole video because I didn't want to sleep with white women.
Wow.
Like if they did that, that was wrong. You should understand that he's learning. I don't know if they did that. Somebody could come back and say it. I wasn't a part of that group. If he said F him, that's kind of, messed up. I guess he was trying to learn. Let me come back a little bit.
Facebook, this is in 2009, 2010, like January, the title was like F him, like my Hebrew name at the time, because I had a different Hebrew name back then.
Yeah, Madai.
And they was like F him, and that shit blew my mind that they did a whole video because I didn't want to sleep with white women, or didn't agree with sleeping with white women.
So that literally splits people up, something like that.
Well, you talk about as far as camps?
As far as camps.
No. You know what split camps up? What split camps up is what split any organization up. Ego, pride, and money. They'll tell you all day that it's a doctrine or something like that, but it's like, let's say you and I are in a group.
Yeah.
You outrank me. I can't get above you because you're the top. The only way I can have your position is if whatever you teaching, now all of a sudden something's wrong with it.
I see.
Or I got to go branch off and do it. And then now when I go start my own thing, I'm keeping this. Here's the bugged out part that bugs me out the most. When I leave you, I teach the exact same things that I was teaching when I was with you. The only difference is, if you a priest, now I'm a priest. And then you know what happens? Now me and you can stand together like this. You know what I'm saying? It's never real doctrine.
I see.
It's always somebody wanted to outrank
Status or rank.
Okay, good. So now, who is the highest? This is for General Yohana. Who is the highest ranking man in the ISUPK? When I say the ISUPK, I'm talking about the Israeli School of Universal Practical Knowledge, not the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. It was King Masha, Masha, right? Masha got tired of the BS. Actually, you got a bunch of demons led by Dracula himself, Bishop Nate, to get to Masha's ear and say we got to leave, which was stupid, and they didn't even want me to come with them. They wanted to use Masha to bring people with them. So, and there was a lot of shit. Money started coming in, and a lot of bullshit over money, which he's right on. So Masha left. Now Masha was he said rank. You remember he said rank. He said, I'm a little bit lower than you. Now I'm equal to you. When the school split, it was Masha that went his way. Who should have followed Masha? Everybody. That includes General Yohana. Yohana didn't follow King Mashar, which was the highest ranking man in the school. So how can General Yohana walk around and say that Mashar left the truth, Tahar left the truth? How the fuck we could left the truth when we're still teaching the word? You know? So this Yohana, General Yohana, just made all that shit up. That I'm the real guy and the Lord, and I'm second only to Christ. If you're second only to Christ, that means you're King David. So why don't you put a crown on your head and say, I'm King David? Change your name to Dawiyad. Please, King Dawiyad. Because when you say you don't understand that when you make the statement, I'm second only to Christ, who's second only to Christ? The Messiah. When you know what I'm saying, it's Messiah. That's King David. He's a ruler. He's going to be the physical ruler on the earth. Yahweh Shai is going to be the physical ruler, or the spiritual ruler and physical ruler, because he can come down in the physical too. It says that's in Revelation 21 that the Lord is going to be among men. So he can come down in the form of a man. So you got the Father, the Son, you got the Holy Spirit, then you got King David on the earth, which is Peter. So when General Yohana says, I'm second only to Christ, that means he's saying in code, I'm King David. So he might as well start teaching, I'm King David, right? What is this guy? Bishop, now he's a general too. Oh, Bishop Nate Nathaniel is also General Nathaniel. He's the head of the armies and he's the head of the church. One of his people said, I believe it was at a Passover, and I actually saw the video. They said, we don't know who he is. He's either Peter or Elijah. Elijah came back as John. Elijah came back again as Abba Bivens. But he goes into the fact that Abba Bivens is Elijah. So are you saying that Abba Bivens, when he got killed, the spirit jumped in you, or the spirit jumped in Nate's body? Because that's what the guy said. And all Nate did was, flash that Cheshire Cat smile. Look that up. Cheshire Cat smile. All teeth. And he didn't say, no, brother, I'm none of those things, Yeah, but Tahar, you go around saying I'm Paul. When did I say I was Paul? I'm not Paul. I don't know who the hell I am. I know I'm Tahar. I don't know who I was back then. So anyway, let's listen to some more. See, we're in the analytical stage of this thing.
Status or
Yeah.
power
Yeah.
or ego. And if I could, what I always like to point out, what I love about Commanding General Yohana, my leader, he hasn't had a rank raise since he had his rank of general. He's only been a general since like the 80s. And if he wanted to, he could have said, I'm gonna be a high priest, because all the priests left. He didn't take any rank, and we have been able to keep this house.
What do you mean all the priests left? When King Mashar left with Nate and them, and I followed King Mashar, not no Nate, not no goddamn Nate. General Yohana should have did what? Since the highest ranking man left, you were supposed to follow him. General Yohana didn't do that. General Yohana stayed under the leadership of Ariyah. Then he wound up leaving that church too. And now he's saying everybody followed the truth except him. Come on, dog. And see, you don't have first-hand knowledge because you wasn't there, Captain Desariac.
A base or separated from those type of problems. So we don't have power issues. We don't have jealous issues. We don't have nothing. I'm with the same men I've been with forever, but we learned those lessons. Because in the early 90s, you had splits and stuff like that. But split is never over doctrine. They'll tell you it's doctrine, But when you get to the
Really?
root of it,
Uh-huh.
it's always
They
something.
just wanted higher.
Yeah,
They
it's
wanted
always
higher. That's so interesting, man. I always thought about that and wondered. I'm like GMS and Sakari and all this kind of. I'm like, man, what's the difference? I never really knew what the difference was, you know. But yeah.
Petty disagreement, and if it's about brotherhood, that's the other thing that it bothered me because, and this ain't a Israelite thing. You got different sets of Christians.
Yes, exactly. The
You got Lutheran, Baptist. You got all these.
Hey, let me say this about General Yohana. He was a brother. Yeah, me and him was cool. I knew his whole family. I knew his brother. His brother could have been a stand-up comedian. That's a funny ass nigga right there. If you if you want to take a trip from New York to Florida, bring General Yohana's brother. That trip will last you about 2 hours. It seemed like he'll have you cracking up. That dude could have actually been. That nigga was just funny as hell. He's just a funny dude, you know. Hey, I used to see General Yohana every day. We used to go out selling, man. We used to all go out to the clubs together, man. So, you know,
Yeah.
And all it comes down to is lack of brotherhood at the core.
Yeah.
Because if we're brothers, there shouldn't be an issue that we can't work out.
I agree.
So those are a bunch of heathens. You know, when Christ
Yeah.
said if they won't hear the church, then they're heathen. There's
Yeah.
a bunch of heathens out there creating Christian groups, Israelite groups, Arabic groups, Black
Yeah.
Panther groups, all of that. All of
Yeah.
them suffer the same thing, just lack of brotherhood.
Yeah, for sure. Man, that's interesting, man. It's a pleasure to meet you, though.
Oh, likewise,
Because I've seen a lot. You know, I heard you on Clubhouse, so that's where I was like
Oh,
first
okay.
seeing how you run the rooms and stuff like that. I was like, man, this is a cool dude.
Yeah.
hey, just for the record, God Logic is lost. He doesn't know what's going on. He's completely lost. So he mentioned GMS. They mentioned GMS a couple of times. But if God Logic is listening, you don't know what's going on. You're just completely lost. And I'm not saying that out of hate. You just don't know. The Most High didn't open up your eyes. He didn't open up your eyes, man. He didn't hit you with that oil on the top of your head. See, if the Most High worked with him, he would immediately say, "I'm an Israelite," because he's got that demon on him, which we all had. That one demon. Before you come into this truth, you have a demon on you. Every last one of you. You meet a woman, she got a demon on her. No, not this. That woman got a demon on her. I'll give you a little story. Johanna had when we was young, we had a lot of, we had different women that we used to go clubbing, we used to meet women. So General Johanna met the Simeonite woman. That chick was fine as hell. And we were telling her, I said, that demon gonna come out. Oh, no, man. That demon gonna come out of her. I think they were dealing with each other for 6 months, and the day came when that demon, she lost it. She turned into Satan. And then he had to break up with the chick. And I said, we told you that demon's gonna come out on her. But that's a story right there. You know?
I'm
Cool
pretty
dude.
cool till we get in that ring.
Yeah. Cool dude, man. So,
I mean, I'm even cool in the ring, but
Yeah.
it's different. It's like battle rap.
yeah, exactly,
You know what I mean? Like, I just
exactly,
watched
exactly.
Ichi and Hitman last night, so it's like battle rap. We
Yeah.
cool like this,
Yeah.
but when the camera's on, it's like,
When
hey,
it
yo!
Hold it
Then it's-
down!
Yeah, then it's
Hold it
different.
down!
It's
Yeah.
different. So, I'm looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, me too, man. Me
All right?
too. Yeah.
So we ready?
Yeah. I think so.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Okay,
And they
for
got
sure.
mics then.
And I saw most of it, if not all of it. Captain really won that battle. He won it, definitely. Even though he's a so-called enemy. Hey, when he went for Polite, what's this guy? Sonetta asked me, he came down. He said, "What do you think about who you think won?" I said, Captain Zariak. Captain Zariak won. Why you say? Because he's an Israelite. So I took the side of Captain Tazariak when he went up against Polite. So
And everything and shit. Okay.
That's all. I told you. That's all we got.
That's all y'all-
Yeah. Y'all came with the mic, the channel, the light.
Because we wanted to be
You
prepared
know?
for everything. We didn't know if it was going to be a crowd. We didn't know
Yeah.
if we was going to need speakers. We didn't know what we was going to need.
What
so
about
we
the
just wanted to
rain
make
too? I
sure-
heard it was gonna rain too. That's what
It's
kind of
been
scared me a
in
little
and
bit.
out, like
Yeah.
drizzle, but Lord allow it, hold the shit back, so we ain't got to make people wait. Hey,
It's
quick
good
question
right
though,
now.
when we do this, are we,
Yeah.
because like when JP was telling me, Are we filming first and not going live, or are we going live?
We're not going like we're not
No,
going
no, yeah,
live.
that's what I thought.
So,
No, I wanted to make sure because I saw you live yesterday. So I didn't
and we
want.
cut it off.
Yeah, okay, good,
we
good,
cut
good.
it
I
off. We
didn't
made
want
it
to do the
private.
live. That way, we could edit it, And I think we agreed to release it around the same time. Okay. Now, what I do tell my maybe like one brother may go live for about a minute just to let people know we're here,
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah,
and then that's it. But as far as the whole thing,
we're just gonna film it and upload it.
oh yeah, yeah.
Want to wrap it up? Yeah, I guess.
Anyway, let me go ahead. Hey, I'm gonna start giving you guys tests, like to try tests. Anybody that gets sick in GMS, we're gonna throw it out there to the people. Oh, this guy's got a certain sickness. We identify blood work or whatever the case. Only time you deal with a doctor, I'm changing subjects here. Only time you deal with a doctor, if your head ain't blown off when you're in trauma wise. The only time you deal with a doctor if you go for blood work. If that, don't even want to go that. You can, any disease you have is diagnosed. You have symptoms, right? So any brother that got symptoms of a certain sickness, I'm gonna throw it out to y'all that y'all come up, find out how to restore him to health. Using herbs, because you're supposed to know how to use herbs too. A prophet Maccabees did not Maccabees know the herbs? Did not they go to the mountains? I think it was nine of them all together, and they knew to eat the herbs. Matter of fact, let me see if I can go ahead and find that. So you got brothers talking about their prophets, but they don't know they don't know how to heal themselves. Now, if you're in a situation, a death-defying situation, you might go to the hospital, but then again, you might die too. There's doctors, I talked to doctors, they said we can't heal everything. There's sometimes you just drop dead. Sometimes they do an operation and you go home 2 days later, you dead. But they'll tell you the operation was a success. Anyway, let me do this. Let me do this here. Let me put in herbs. Herbs. Okay. Let's see what comes up. Okay, you got 18 scriptures. Okay, probably better is a dinner of herbs, where love is than a stall ox and hatred therewith. Like you got a woman that hates you, you need to let her go. Romans 14:2. For one believeth that he may eat all things. Now Christians say that means you can eat pork, and no, it means that you can eat meats and herbs. Another who is weak or sick eateth herbs. And you can read that in context, which I'm not going to do. Numbers 9:11, the 14th day of the second month, at evening they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. We normally eat the horseradish because it's a herb. Not lettuce. Not lettuce, Genesis, romaine lettuce. That's not an herb. I mean, if you can prove that it's an actual herb technically, but what does it say? It said bitter herbs. Bitter herbs. And I love the best part of Passover is eating them herbs, man. I love them herbs. The horseradish. It clears you up. The hay, pareth, tender grass, and herbs in the mountains. That's where your pharmacy is in the fields. Let me see. When you make teas out of it, for the earth which drinketh up cometh, bringeth forth herbs, meat, good, meat meaning good, meat, for them by whom it is dressed, receiveth blessings from the Most High. Now there's certain viruses and bacteria. The Esau doesn't have you can't cure you of it. You know, there's a term for it. There's certain superbugs where Esau can't cure it, and you just die. You get worse and you die. But you can go to the herbs, and the herbs will heal you. It says, indeed, eat up all the herbs in their land and devour the fruit of their ground. But when it is sown, it groweth into, okay, Matthew, Deuteronomy, Egypt from hence. Ye came out where thou sowest thy seed and watereth it with thy foot as a garden of herbs. Herbs is your pharmacy. So you got to know the herbs. We're medicine men. But woe unto men of Pharisees, he tithes and men and man of herbs. Oh, tithes also means money. So stop listening to IUIC. It also means gold and silver. When they raided the treasury, Titus raided the treasury. They took all the gold out. They took the gold monies, the menorah, the different things that were made with gold and silver. Why do you think they had it all there? Because people gave tithes and offerings. Offerings was in the form of money. Remember the old woman with the last pence? That was actual money. So you got to stop that, IUIC. You got to stop acting like you authority. You ain't authorities, man. That's Passover, bitter herbs. It didn't say lettuce. That's not a bitter herb. Bitter herbs are bitter herbs. They're bitter to the taste. Let me do this. Let me put in the word herb. So I make a lot of tinctures. I made it before and I stopped making it and I got back into making it. Look at that. Different scriptures. I'm just scrubbing over this. I'm just scrubbing over this. Please forgive me. Bear with me. Okay, this is what I'm going to do now. Come back over here. Come back again. I'm sorry. Herbs. Herbs. Modify. Apocrypha. Okay, 3 times. Here we go. Judas Maccabeus knew the herbs. 2 Maccabees 5 verse 27. But Judas Yahowadiah Maccabeus Machwabath with 9 others, so it's 10, including him, made 10, or thereabout, withdrew himself into the wilderness and lived in the mountains after the manner of beasts with his company, who fed on herbs continually. So you got to know the difference between an herb and a poison, lest they should be partakers of the pollution. Remember when you go to Job 30 and Esau was in the mountains eating the juniper berries, the roots and so forth. That's why they stayed alive. Those are medicines of the earth. Most High put the spirit on them. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and get that. Job 30. Job 30. See, you ain't gonna get this in the church. You ain't gonna get this in the church. I want to go to the point. You can start at the first verse. Okay. For want and famine, they were solitary, fleeing into the wilderness in former time, desolate and waste. This is in between Babylonian Empire and the when the Greeks came along. They were in this caveman type state. But now they are younger than this is Paul. This is Job speaking. They that are younger than I is talking about Esau. This is all in code, remember. But now they that are younger than I have me in derision, whose fathers I would have disdained to have set with the dogs of my flock. Yeah, whereunto might their strength of their hand profit me, in whom old age was perished. For want and famine, they were solitary. That I told them they went up into the caves and so forth. They went up into the field, and some went up into caves too. When that split, there was a split with Esau. Some of them stayed in Mount Seir, and they were calling themselves Edomites. Others went up into, ultimately, the Caucasus Mountains, between the Black Sea and the Caspian Sea. Fleeing into the wilderness in former times, desolate and waste. They didn't have nothing. Who cut up mallows by the bushes and juniper roots for their meat. Juniper roots. Let's look up juniper roots. I might start using juniper roots. Let's see. Let's go and see. Okay, let me see something. Juniper roots. Benefits. Juniper root benefits. It might also have antibacterial effects, because they were eating that garbage, raw meat and so forth. And the Most High put the spirit on them to eat these herbs, because he wanted them to stay alive, because he's going to use them to set them up over us. Affects and increase the need to urinate. Urinate pushes out toxins out of your body. People use juniper for cancer, diabetes, gas, indigestion, kidney stones, wound healing, and many other conditions, but there is no good scientific evidence to support these uses. You know why? Because they don't want you to go back to the herbs. They want you to go to the pharmacy. The Most High made the pharmacy is out there in the field. So why did these devils eat juniper roots? Because it was pushing out poisons out of their systems, toxins. And the Most High put the spirit, man's goings are of the Lord. So how can a man then understand his own way? Right? Juniper roots. It says it can cure cancers, it cures all kind of things. Y'all should get into juniper. Elderberry. This is the time when you spend $20 for a small bottle of what do they call it? The hell do they call it? It was just in my mind. Sambucus. Well, you can make your own sambucus. Better than what you can buy at the store. That's nothing but elderberries. Okay, let me go to mallows. Let's go to mallows. And that's why certain guys said, go ahead and take the smart, the jump shot. Certain guys in Israel said, go ahead and take it. Mallows, is mallow good for you? Mallow has been used as food and medicine in Europe since the time of ancient Greece and Rome. So when they were up in the caves, didn't they come out as the Greeks? So they knew to eat that because they were eating that when they were in that caveman state. Hello. And Rome, the Greeks and the Romans are Edomites. Traditional herbal medicine continues to regard the plant as useful anti-inflammatory agent for the respiratory tract, the skin, and the gastrointestinal tract. Now they mentioned the gastrointestinal tract when I looked up mallows and I looked up juniper. It says because the gastrointestinal tract, what they call it, there's a shorter version of it. The GI system, gastrointestinal tract. That's your 80% of your immune system is in your gastrointestinal tract, which is your colon, your large intestine, and your small intestine, the liver, the stuff, all that right there, them organs right there. That's life right there. The gastrointestinal tract is also your second brain. You get cravings. You see? And so you guys know 3 scriptures and you think you're a prophet. You don't know nothing. You go to the pharmacy. Let me get some Tylenol. You don't need no goddamn Tylenol. There's a simple herb that you can use that's better than Tylenol. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. Shalom. On to the next.